here in Hulu Langat. I've been here for, I think I got the property about 10 years ago, but really living here full time in the last 2 years. I love living here. It is actually not that far away from the city, 28 kilometers precisely to KL Central, but it's still feeling like you are out of the city. So it is a nice place to stay. Well, I'm working full time in the city, in the financial sector. Like I said 10 years ago, I just feel the city is just too crowded and I just need actually to be away from it. At the same time, not that far away because I still enjoy working in the financial sector, and as you can imagine, it's very hectic. But at the same time, once I finish with my hectic working life, I can come back here like a sanctuary. And once I'm here, I just do not want to get out there again unnecessarily. So yeah, that's how I ended up here. In fact, when I started building this place, I got the land maybe 10 years ago, but I only built this place, this house, this small cottage probably 6 years ago. But at that time, I was still actually living in the city. I was thinking about getting things to live in the green and to live in a green environment and be responsible to the environment. And solar is always one of my dream, but it's not impossible. But I'm not very technical in that respect. For instance, I can generate the solar, but where do I store it? For instance, it's quite challenging in that perspective. And I'm not an engineer to actually think about all aspects of from installation, from even sourcing the panel, and from even thinking of who produces the right panel or the best panel. I don't have that knowledge. So when I knew that this program existed, and then I was recommended by a friend, she's probably one of your client as well. Maybe I want to do that. So that's how I got, and she recommended me to you guys. And then I went to the Verdant website, and when I look at the website, it's so refreshing. I mean, Verdant is actually meant by young people like you guys, and I said this is exciting because young people, your generation, is actually care more for the environment. So, and I was thinking, if that is the case, Verdant do know what they are doing. So that's why I ended up calling you guys up, and here we are today. Yeah. I don't even have to actually call. I just actually texted the number given by my friend, and the communication all through WhatsApp. You guys, your consultant came and take a look at the place, and I think my favorite is when I decided to actually install the panel instead of on my roof. I said, can we actually do it on my porch roof? Which is actually equally big. It can fit 8 quad panel on the same roof. Having said that, it doesn't disturb my roof. My favorite part of during the consultation is actually Verdant is so flexible and accommodative, and they thought about it, or at least the person that I was dealing with. But having said that, what I like the most is they are willing to hear me out, and they are willing to accommodate, and so as a result, we come to a compromise. Yes, I think it is possible. They said it is possible to actually install it on the car porch, but there's a little bit of connectivity, some extra cabling needed. And at the same time, I'm also a little fussy on, I do not want wires to be hanging around in the environment. So we decided to dig out a trench, and the cable is actually go down underground and all the way to my DB box. So they are accommodating. It's something that they had not done before. I mean, Verdant had not done before. They probably very used to installing it in residential area where you come around and just put things on the roof. No digging is required, no additional cabling process or anything like that took place. So, but having said that, Verdant is willing to hear me out. I think that is my favorite part of of the whole the whole consultation. Yeah. Okay, because I think sustainability, first and foremost, respecting the environment is very important. So, and Malaysia is not excluded from that, and we are hearing news globally, climate change and whatnot. And Malaysia is also responsible on making sure that, for instance, we are one of the signatories of the Paris Convention. So by certain years, our energy should come from renewable sources and that sort of thing. Then I was thinking, if I can't actually contribute in a big manner, I mean at the country level, maybe living here in this village, it's actually coming back to my reason living here as well, because I like to live in nature. I like to live, immerse myself in nature to a certain extent. So how do I actually preserve that? So among others, getting my energy source to come from renewable source is one of I would say way of contributing to saving the environment. From my personal perspective, like I said, if I can't actually do it on a larger scale, at least I begin here from home. So apart from actually in my quest respecting the environment and to live in a sustainable manner, I think I care where my energy source comes from. So renewable is one of the best solution going forward. So that's why I decided to make sure that my electricity source of energy come from a renewable source. So that is actually my motivation for doing this whole thing. We as citizens have our own responsibility as well. If we can in every way do that or try to preserve the environment. I'm trying to actually sort of creating toward the path of zero carbon on my farm. For instance, even if my family comes around, I will say, guys, do not bring polystyrene in, because if you're bringing that in, you will be responsible of bringing it out again from my farm. So there is no single-use plastic when you come here. I try as much as I can. Slowly, everybody aware of the way we are consuming these days. I think I was just watching some documentary. If Malaysia continues with our old behavior now without realizing that we need to change, we probably need 5 planet Earth to accommodate our way of living. So that is quite sad, and we know that Earth cannot be replicated, right? So whatever we have now is our duty to actually preserve it. So one way of that is this. Actually, my bill is not that big. Basically, my bill is mainly running the water pump, and I have my own water system. I am not hooked to the water, to the national water system. It is actually an underground water system, which I pump up to my water tower, which is actually at the back. It goes up to the tower, and then I have my own filtering system and comes into the house. So basically, if I figured it out, I said if I have a solar system, that means my pump is also running on renewable. So the whole thing is just actually renewable. So that is the whole concept. So in terms, it's not so much for saving. Yes, I probably made some saving, but I think it is, we have to look at it holistically. It's actually a greater saving for the environment. I think for me that is much more important. There are so many other solar panel partners you can partner, but I think preferring or choosing the right one is actually very important, especially with the right mindset that is aligned with your objective. For me, burden just align with my objective. Again, my experience with burden right from the beginning to now, in terms of they are very consultative. Everything is possible. So I like that. It's very dynamic, and it's very creative as well. Whoever actually watching this video, I just want to say that saving the environment, going green is everybody's responsibility. We can't put that responsibility solely to the government or to the country. We have to contribute as well. And then as far as who you choose to partner on your journey to go green, at least to begin with your source of energy, I am just fascinated with the Verdant team. Like I said, when I went to your website, or even now when I work with them, young people is actually the generation of the future, and they believe in it. We should support them.